This is Spoiler.
Hello, and welcome to Spoilers. This week, I am your host, Stevie, and we are breaking down the second season of Castlevania, the amazing Netflix show. Who's with me tonight?
Spooky Pappy in November. You never know when to stop.
And Mike.
Have you guys watched, outside the show, have you guys watched anything good lately? Could be a movie, could be a show, could be a funny YouTube clip if you want it to be.
I was watching Big Mouth. It was like the next thing suggested on Netflix after I finished watching this. I kind of like that show. It's pretty funny. It's really disgusting.
What's it about?
It's about these kids going through puberty. It's an animated show, and it's got Nick Kroll and John Mulaney doing voices as the two kids.
You had me at funny. John Mulaney. How about you, Pap?
I liked Bad Times at El Royale, but I'd like to shout out to Brett, who posted in the thread a video remix of a high school fight set to the cha-cha slide. I don't know why Brett's looking at this, but it was freaking hilarious. And the guy gets knocked out, so.
I don't understand. I thought it was going to be something relevant to the podcast or to our thread. And it was just a random video.
Brett's just on World Star Hip Hop.
If you think Brett's random on the podcast, you should see him in the group thread. It's even crazier.
It's very sporadic. Lots of ins, lots of outs. Typically, we have no idea what's going on. But season 2 of Castlevania. How would you guys compare this to the first season as far as pacing goes?
Much slower.
Mm-hmm.
It is 8 episodes, so they kind of have to drag it out.
I don't know if there's more action, but there's more episodes, which is the problem. Which might be a problem, but I love it. But it's just spread a little bit more thin. Same amount of butter, just more toast.
Did you like the slow pace, Pap, or did you prefer like the 4 episode season? Because this is a lot of character building and a lot of story building.
I think that one of the things that this series has going for it is the animation is gorgeous. And I love it. Mm-hmm. So more time in the world, more time seeing the world is good for me. Mikey, what do you think? I love it.
I mean, I think one of my biggest problems with the first season was that I wanted more. And then now I have more. So I'm happy with the extra episodes. I mean, it's not extra episodes. It's only an 8 episode season. So it's not like we're getting a ton of stuff, but like Stevie said, there's a lot more character development and stuff, and I don't know anything about the games, so it's all new to me, so I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I think I was a little young for the games when they came out. My mom was kind of one of those people that didn't like to let me play violent video games, but that's just my upbringing. So we add some new characters to this season. We have, is it Carmilla?
Mm-hmm. And is she episode 1 debut?
Yeah, she's episode 1 debut.
It's a very, again, we talked about this on Poltergeist. It's a Spielbergian kind of reveal, like the best character of the season.
Oh no, see, episode 2, I mean, episode 2.
Episode 2, yeah. Yeah, she comes in like at the very end of episode 2, and she makes a huge splash when she does. And it's, I love it. She's a kind of a sassy anti-Dracula vampire, which I kind of thought...
You know she's evil right away.
Dracula's kind of a bitch in this season.
Why so?
Not gonna lie. He's beta Dracula. He's super passive. He's like depressed. He's like working through some stuff.
He's tired. He's not eating anybody, so he's tired and sleepy.
The whole time.
Low energy Drac.
Yeah, because, I mean, in the first season, it was balls to the walls. Like, he was killing people instantly. And he was ruthless, and you have to cross him. Mm-hmm. In this one, he just seems very put out. Everyone seems like they're in a foul mood. He used to have a thirst for blood that he no longer has. And he just seems very, I don't know, how would you describe it, guys?
Depressed.
Almost like he doesn't even want to do this anymore.
He's just like, I mean, everybody's complaining about him just wanting a genocide. He's like not even really thinking straight.
Mm-hmm. Who's the Scottish vampire?
Godbrand, the Viking?
I love Godbrand.
Voiced by Peter Stormare?
Yeah, great performance. Great new character. Is he new to this season too?
Yeah, he's new.
Yeah, he's great, and he's like the anti-Dracula because he's like pig's blood makes me shit my pants. I don't know what he says, but he has that life. He has that kind of like crazy edge that you want to see in the show.
Yeah, he seems like very much like a Viking vampire. He loves to screw. He loves to eat and drink and black out.
He loves to make boats.
Yeah, exactly. He is very much so the, I guess you say the comedic effect of this season. And we have two new characters. We have Hector and who else, Mikey?
Isaac?
Yep.
Yeah, Isaac is a masochist. He's kind of hurts himself a little bit.
Got some Da Vinci Code vibes. He's like whipping himself.
Yeah.
Too much, Isaac.
Isaac has some self-inflicting hate.
To talk about Hector, though, the whole season, everyone's like, oh, Hector's like a little boy in a grown man's body. I'm like, why? His mom killed his pets. I would be pissed off, too. Like,
and then he burned his parents alive.
What do they call him? A forge master?
Yeah, him and Isaac are both forge masters.
Forge master?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Hector's pretty cool.
Meaning they can raise the dead of their pets.
And, yeah, exactly, and create the dead. So we found out where all those demons came from in the first season. And these two are actually human. They're not vampires. So they really don't care if all the humans die. But they kind of take different approaches to it. Because Hector just seems like he wants them to be livestock. And Isaac seems like he really wants them all dead. And they're going down two different paths because Carmilla is in Hector's ear the entire season, and it's so annoying how stupid Hector is. But getting back to our main characters, we have Trevor, Typha, and the brand new Alucard. How awesome is Alucard?
Yeah, Alucard's dope. The floating sword thing is like a top 5 cool weapon in like cartoons or something. It's just like floating right next to his shoulder, like kind of like a gun or something, and it just goes around and kills everybody. It's really cool.
One thing I definitely appreciated about this season was them fleshing out Trevor, Sypha, and Alucard. It's kind of like a dream team where they're not all getting along, and their dialogue makes like perfect sense for their characters at the time.
And this show does a great job too. It does a better job than actually the MCU sometimes of each one of those characters has their own kind of like thing they bring to the group. And when they come together and fight together, it's so awesome because they're just like playing off each other so well. And it works really well as like animated action, which is hard to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so go ahead, Mikey.
I was just going to say, when Pappy was talking about that, there's a scene where they're fighting Dracula and they all team up in the hallway or something. And Trevor is like leaning up against Sypha so she can like do her magic and not get pushed back. So she's kind of like bracing her. Yeah. And then Alucard is like in the front with his sword, kind of like pushing it even farther with his magic stuff.
It's really awesome.
It's kind of cool. Yeah, they're like form of something that can kill Dracula or something.
Form of garlic. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, because, I mean, a lot of time is spent away from our main three characters that are this team. They're in the Belmont estate, which looks beautiful in animation. Mm-hmm. I mean, that giant library looks so cool.
Stevie, we talk about how like animation's kind of 3 parts. It's character design, it's action, but it's also like the setting. Mm-hmm. This show excels at the setting. Like we talked about this in season 1.
It's so cool.
The castle in Castlevania is one of my favorite things I've ever seen in any animated thing.
It's its own character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then like every time they have to like build a new set, build a new place, we have to go. The team knocks it out of the park. They're amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when he first transports the castle in the beginning of the season, he kind of goes into that marshy kind of swamp area where it kind of evaporates those deer. It looks incredible. Like, that's just art to me. It just looks absolutely insane and stunning. So a predominant part of this season is our 3 main heroes in the Belmont estate trying to figure out a way to kill Dracula. A lot of different moving parts, because the whole point is for Sypha to figure out a way to, I guess you could say, capture the castle from moving. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. And she's kind of playing the middleman to the vampire and the vampire hunter male counterpart she has in the group.
Yes, exactly. And there's great action along the way, but the whole season builds to episode 7. Was that not absolutely incredible? I mean, the fight inside the castle, and you get the 3, Alucard, Sypha, and Trevor, and you have vampire on vampire. Absolutely stunning. Wouldn't you guys agree?
Mm-hmm. And the whole time, because we just talked about the castle, I was like, no, don't destroy the castle. We still don't know what's in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really awesome. And then Alucard is Dracula's son, and the final battle takes place in Alucard's childhood room. So it's kind of touching / I don't know. It's kind of dark. It's pretty dark. Yeah. I mean, because he definitely feels bad about it.
And this whole series is so unafraid. Like, we kill off big characters early on in the series. Like, what's his name? Goddard?
Godbrand dies like the 4th episode.
Godbrand dies early, and it's not afraid to do that. And then, like, in this episode 7, which is not the last episode of the series, like, all of the other, like, side vampires die. Like, there's, like, a Japanese one.
There's, like, an Egyptian one.
They all die off, yeah.
Exactly. And this is kind of, like, the build-up to everything, because Alucard is definitely... He doesn't have a love for humans, but he's half human, half vampire. I forget what that's called. It's like is that a damfire or a damper? I'm not sure. I know there's a name for it. But his whole aim, like the whole season, is he's going to kill his dad. And he's kind of pumped up about it throughout the season. And like Mikey said, when he finally does get to do it, you see some real, I guess you could say, characters coming full circle, because it's the first time that Dracula really shows any emotion throughout the entire second season is when his son's about to kill him.
Which he's been motivated like by the love of the loss of his wife too. Which right. I love the introduction of that like Carmilla character, because the first thing she says is like, "Why are we going to war with the humans over this BS?" And like, it's definitely even a question the audience has been asking too. But the way she says it and the way Dracula reacts, like, his eyes turn straight red. They fill up with blood, which is just such an awesome like visual. It's so cool.
I think that was definitely a very touching scene, because I also thought it was kind of lighthearted and funny, because it looked like when Dracula's years were withering away when he's finally staked at the heart, he was trying to hug Alucard, and then Trevor comes in and just chops off his head in front of him. You could have had this really touching moment, and Trevor's like, "There you go, it's done."
I saved the day. You're welcome, Alucard.
Which, I don't know what you guys think. I feel like the show is trying to say that if Dracula is like not depressed, if he's on his like, antidepressant medication and he's like working out, that no one could beat Dracula. Even these 3 are catching Dracula on an off day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty much what he was. He was fighting him on an off day, and he still almost killed Alucard by himself.
Mm-hmm. He still almost wins.
Yeah, exactly. And I really like the way that this season wrapped up, because you have so many different storylines going on, because you have Hector... not Hector, you have Isaac out in his homeland, which I thought was hysterical when Dracula like threw him through the glass.
Did you guys think he was dead? Like, he just got dropped off in the middle of the desert.
Well, that's what I thought was so funny. He could have thrown him on a tropical paradise, but he chose him in the middle of, he threw him in the middle of nothing. I was like, there you go to your desert that you hated so much.
Yeah, where he was like previously treated like shit his entire life.
I don't want you to die defending me. I'm going to send you to Alabama in the deep south. With no water.
I thought it was great, though. I didn't think it was so much funny. I thought it was kind of sad, because like throughout the whole season, we see how these regular humans become so devoted to Dracula, because Dracula kind of like takes these weirdos in and then kind of like protects them.
Isaac definitely has the most love for Dracula out of the humans.
Yeah. Do you guys remember the Sand Snakes from Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Isaac is like the Sand Snakes if they weren't freaking stupid. he's embodying that same kind of like loyalty, that same kind of like you save me mentality, but he just works so much better, and he's such a great character.
Right, we leave off with him kind of starting his own army because he's a forge master and he's just killing folks out in the desert. And those animated sequences were fantastic. Then on the other swing of that, you have Hector, who's now a captive of Carmilla. You know, what's going to happen with those two? Because Carmilla's still out there, and Hector's now just pretty much a prisoner, wouldn't you say?
Did you guys pick up on the fact that Hector's supposed to be like a man-child?
Really?
I mean, that's what they say, right? It's a man in a child's body, or a child in a man's body. Like, I never really picked up on that.
Oh, I didn't know if he was supposed to be like trans or something, or like feminine in a way.
Possibly Canadian.
I mean, but he is pretty. I mean, when they did the flashback to him as a kid, he kind of acts the same way. Anyways, he's kind of just pretty meek, I guess. He's a meek guy.
Yeah. So he's now. Oh, go ahead.
Well, no, he's supposed to be like the best of the bringing dead people to life, right? Like he's the goat of that. It's just you have to kind of put up with his parents' issues.
He's working through stuff.
We leave off there, and here's the part that, I mean, it makes me excited for season 3 is they split up the dream team right after they came together.
I don't know if they thought that the show was going to end, but I don't know where they're planning on going for the start of next season, because I don't want to see them all split up right away. I want to start killing stuff.
But it'll be really cool when they get back together mid-season.
It could be a flash forward. Like we get Simon Belmont for all I know. But it feels like this is kind of like the prequel or like the setup. I don't know.
This is like the setup to like 80 years later. Here's where we are now.
Simon Belmont is here. Potentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting to see where the season's going to go because you have Alucard by himself who is just so depressed. You know, he's in a castle that's empty. He has no father, no mother, and his 2 best friends are now on the road. And I have, where are Trevor and Sypha going?
To make some babies.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be...
I ship them. I ship all 3 of them.
I thought we were going to get like a jealousy point of like Alucard falling for Sypha, Trevor falling for Sypha, and Sypha being like, hey, I'm just a magic girl, guys. Like, relax.
Trevor/Alucard, but 2020.
But yeah, I'm excited to see where season 3 goes. You guys have any theories of where it'll start, or just you have no idea?
I'm confused as why Sypha wouldn't want to hook up with Alucard. Like, he's much more cooler and vampire-y, and Trevor Belmont, at one point he's like, yeah, I smell real bad. sorry about that. It's not my coat, it's me. That's what he says, and she loves it.
She likes a project, Pappy. She likes a project.
I guess.
But for next season, I think this. I mean, again, I don't know anything about the games. I think they said that they're going to try and hit on some of the games in Symphony of the Night. I think was the 3rd or 4th season. They're going to try and hit on. I don't know what those games are about, but I know they're pretty fun. I know that they're good games.
It sounds like I think that Sypha and Trevor will have a kid who will be Simon Belmont, who is the protagonist of the video games, which would make a lot of sense that this is kind of just like setting up, Castlevania. And it could be like kind of like a battle of 3 armies, 4 armies even type thing of these 2. You got what's his name? Isaac and
I think
Carmilla.
you're going to see a lot of jumping around next season. I think you're going to see more Dracula and Lisa, probably when they have Alucard. I think you're going to see a lot of like Alucard as a kid. I think you're going to see like a lot of backstory of like the previous Belmonts way before Trevor, like some of their adventures. And then I think you're going to get like present day of like kind of everything in between. I think it's going to do a lot of jumping around, which I am all for.
I think what this show does the best is one, like, production design. So like the whole environment, the whole like aesthetic of the theme, but then the character design is fucking crazy. It's so fucking good, and I want to see more of that. Like when you see like these demon characters, there's one that looks like a duck person, and like he teams up with one that flies.
Yes,
and like the duck knows like karate. Like, dude, it's so creative. It's so great. That's what I'm in for. I love that.
The fight in the Belmont house looked incredible. Like when all the demons were coming down and Sypha's trying to capture everything, like that was a lot of fun to watch.
I think they do magic in this show better than just about any other show. Like the way it's drawn or their ideas for the way the magic works in this world is
better than Game of Thrones.
Pretty awesome. I really like.
When Sypha was using that ice and splitting people in half in the castle, that was
really
dude,
cool.
that was great. That was so creative.
Sypha's like honestly the best character. She's really hilarious. And her magic powers are really cool. She's a really good character.
Mm-hmm. I also found it was interesting, like, how, like, season 1 was extremely anti-Catholic Church. I mean, you could
They moved away from that.
They moved
so
way away from that. Like, I mean, the first episode of season 1, they're splitting bishops in half and seeing their heads getting torn off.
I don't think there was any Catholic people left in this world.
Yeah, I think they killed the entire Catholic Church. You're right.
But even this season does not shy away from violence. There are moments where I'm like, I can't freaking believe what I'm seeing right now, especially when the vampire raid, like the vampires.
That was a bit much.
That's crazy. You see kids, women, children.
When it shows that lady getting her head ripped off and then the vampire just drinking the blood from the woman's head, I was like,
I was thinking about it. That might be the most violent thing I've ever seen. Like literally in any genre of anything.
And it's just on Netflix. Any kid can click on Castlevania.
Oh, this looks fun.
So you guys went down to final thoughts?
I'm ready. Yeah.
All right, Pap, I'll start with you.
And yes or no too?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine we're all going to give it yeses anyway. We're huge fans, so just kind of bridge a gap here.
Yeah, it's a great series, and if you're not watching it, there's really no excuse not to. It's a boundary pushing series in a lot of ways. Like I said, the violence, the character development, the setting. It's phenomenal animation, top class in every sense. Hard yes for me. I wish more people were watching about this. I wish there were more podcasts about this. I will sing the praises of Castlevania as long as I can. Please watch this show, and I cannot wait for season 3. Hard yes.
Mikey.
Repeat everything Pappy said. I want to punch up the animation, though. I mean, I love the animation. I think it's like the best out there. I think it's so cool looking. The way the magic is drawn is the best of like any animated show I've seen. And I've seen a lot of animated shows. And I think the character building is really great this season. And I mean, Pap said earlier before we started this podcast, the whole second season is 3 hours. So you really should just take an afternoon and watch it. It's not a very long show to get into, and these next couple seasons they said that they've already greenlit sound pretty cool, so I'm super excited, and I'm a little sad that Dracula died already. I kind of miss him already.
I think you're going to see a lot more of him in season 3 and 4, though.
Hopefully more evil.
With flashbacks.
And less depressed.
Yes.
More aggressive.
Hopefully more aggressive. And also when he's showing his human side, I'm looking forward to see that. But I think Warren Ellis deserves a lot of credit for his directing and kind of his animating lead and his writing on this show.
Yes.
Like, the writing is fantastic. The animation, like, I think this is really his kind of, brainchild. So, definitely.
Voice acting is awesome, too.
Yes, it is.
On point. Every character is so great.
Like, every character has their own way of speaking. Dracula is very highly intelligent when he speaks, and Trevor just sounds like a dumb oaf when he speaks. So it's definitely, I like the way that works throughout this show, and the animation is just incredible. It's definitely a slower season, 8 episodes, but I think there's certain parts that will, kind of fall back on itself in season 3 and season 4 that we see in season 2. And if anything, watch episode 7. It is just a beauty to watch. So hard yes. And I cannot get enough of this show. So I hope Netflix never ends it.
Same.
Yeah, I mean, this has to be the best video game adaptation out there.
It's not even close. I think it's so far ahead. Like, there'd have to be like a fucking 5-star movie to come close to what this show has done.
Like, if I'm holding a video game property, I'm going to Warren Ellis and saying, how should I do this?
And if they're going to make a video game movie, just make this into a movie.
Yes, please.
Yes.
A la carte on screen, and, everyone would just look insane. Well, since we don't have trivia, I think that's it, boys, isn't it?
I think so.
Well, thank you for listening to this very special episode of Spoilers. I don't think we spoiled too much, honestly. There's a lot in depth that we didn't get into, but definitely go watch this show multiple times. And thank you for listening. That was Spoilers.
Spoiler Man here. Our email is podcastspoilers@gmail.com. Twitter is @spoilers_pod. Our Instagram is podcast spoilers. It's lit. Josh Hensley from the Rutabaga wrote our theme song. Our spoilers hotline is 903-776-4507. That's 903-SPOIL07. Please support this podcast by leaving us an iTunes review. To do this, 1. Search for movie spoilers. 2. Click on our orange Spoilers Bowl logo and scroll all the way to the bottom. 3. Leave us some stars and some words. Now you can check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe on SoundCloud or iTunes.
That was Spoilers.
It was a dark and spooky Halloween night when I, Dracula, thought that I would invite all of my freaky friends who were there in a flash to a big dance party, a monster bash. Wolfman, Frankenstein, and Mummy were there, while Medusa fed some mice to the snakes in her hair. It was a groovy good time for a vampire bat to fly out of his coffin and... Wait, what was that?
Tis